this is my first time in St. Petersburg, and the local Chinese community also shared their life experience. It's a very livable city. It has cultural exchanges, allow everyone to understand each other better.
First of all, for me, it's my 12th Petersburg International Forum, and I know that in China 12 years is full lunar cycle. So I can see how St. Petersburg Forum changed in these 12 years, and I can say that true friends are here with us. And China is definitely one of our closest long-term strategic true friends. And I see the interest, and it is quite important for me that we're discussing here with Chinese partners important developments such as joint navigation in the Northern Sea route. Discussing how the Northern Sea route could be a new strategic corridor for China to be faster, better, more economical way of reaching Europe and of importing goods. So this is very important. Secondly, China has a big construction sector, and we are renovating our cities in the Far East. We're planning to build new cities, and I believe we can cooperate with China there. So overall, I think this forum is about the future, and we see the future in technologies. We see lots of robots. We see lots of artificial intelligence, and at the same time, if you look through the window of your studio, you see lots of flowers, lots of green. So this is the future, I believe. The future where a lot of things will be automated, but at the same time, a lot of things will be natural. And we are trying to build such a future for people live in harmony with nature.
You have mentioned that 2024 will be a year of significant construction in the Far Eastern Federal District. What opportunities does this present for businesses, and what positive impacts will it have on the local economy?
Russia launched a major program to renovate its cities. We started with the Far East. We prepared 22 master plans covering 22 agglomerations, so this is 25 cities where we are going to build new embankments, new theaters, new buildings, new hospitals, also new enterprises, because we are going to be rethinking economies of these cities to attract more tourists. Our plan is to triple the quantity of tourists that visit the Far East by 2036. So this is a very ambitious plan. This is a major change. It started with the Far East. Then we add to this 16 plans in Arctic. So we have 38 master plans under our management that we manage. My ministry is managing the Far East and Arctic. This is 56% of Russia territory. We have 36 master plans. Based on that experience, President Putin ordered whole of Russia to do 200 master plans, which in time will be expanded to 2,000 master plans. I think this is a historical work of tremendous dimensions that represents great opportunities for construction business, engineering business, supply of all sorts of equipment, and also new technologies, smart city, smart lighting, telecommunication technology, healthcare technology, even tourism, arts, sports. So I believe Russia and China can cooperate very, very closely to help each other and benefit from this cooperation in this major historical work. Russia has been developing its Far East for more than 500 years. So I say there is no time horizon for it. It's forever. The Russian Far East will be developed forever, and because we have the longest land border there with China, 4,200 kilometers, our friendship and cooperation are also forever. So this is in our common interest. Same as you develop your Tungbei.
Yes.
They're like sister and brother, or two brothers, whatever you call it.
Yes, it's close. So So what is your evaluation of the bilateral relations between Russia and China? What areas should be strengthened? Like you mentioned, Dubai.
I like it in humanitarian area because I know that economically we are getting very close. Already we have record turnover of more than 220 billion dollars per year. My biggest joy is when I see Chinese tourists coming to Russia, Chinese students coming to Russia to study. And we have actual projects in the Far East. A company from Heilongjiang is building a campus to help Chinese students, candidates, prepare for application to Russian universities to study in Russia. And I think when Chinese come to study in Russia, when Russians come to study in China, this creates the closest bond possible. I think this is where we have to strengthen. Otherwise, in energy, in security, I believe in trade and finance, we're already very close, and things will go there as they are, smooth, and business will find a way. In humanitarian, I want even better mutual understanding, better mutual discovery.
What are the main aspects where the economic development advantages of China and Russia complement each other? How can cooperation between the two countries in resource development further benefit both parties and contribute to the world?
Now we have many areas of cooperation, and I think we need to help each other develop strengths. Strengths in new technologies, strengths in addressing climate change, in adopting renewable power, strengths in developing industries, strengths in building cities, strengths in growing and producing clean food. I think we have to be complementary in this, and this is already happening. So I myself have been doing it for over 20 years already, working with China on various levels, and I could tell that this is very productive, and I have very big respect for Chinese people for adopting new technologies, for working on world market, for developing exports, and I'm sure that by working together we're becoming stronger, both China and Russia.
In addition to infrastructure, what other elements do you think are very important for the construction of the region? What's your dream city?
My big respect is how China is adopting electrical vehicles. So this is a very profound change that you can see. Before the pandemic, there were so many cars. I know, for instance, in Beijing, you had license plates you could use one day but could not use the other day. There were special license plates, right? Depending on the number.
Yes.
Odd number or even number. But with the electrical vehicle, you can use it every day. So after the pandemic, when I first came to Shanghai and to Beijing, I could see so many cars with green license plates, which means they're clean, they're electric. You can use every day, but it's also good for the planet. And I think that this is where China is showing the way. But at the same time, to do that, China needs all the special metals, copper, platinum, nickel, palladium that Russia produces. And here I believe we are complementary, and we need to adopt joint technologies, and we need to develop jointly renewable power sources such as solar power, wind power, hydropower, and even nuclear power to grow this renewable share of renewable energy.
Okay. So in the future, maybe we can take the train from Dongbei to the Far East region.
I hope so. I hope so. This is my dream. There was a plan to build like a very early stage plan and discussion, but to build a plan from Mudanjian to Vladivostok. And I think it's a great idea.
.360-degree profiles of industry movers and shakers, tech mavericks, and policymakers. We drill down on their success. We ask how they set strategy and how they navigate in an increasingly competitive market. Real talk, real business. Join the conversation. BizTalk, only on CGTN.
Looking to the future, how do you think higher quality and a higher level new development can be achieved? In which areas do you think the two countries will further cooperate?
Well, number one is technology. Science and technology is very important because I think humanity is now going through some profound changes in the way we live, in the way we do very basic things like healthcare, education, even longevity, how many years we live, how many years we stay active with good health, with good memory. Everything is changing now because of technology. And I think that Russia and China both have very strong scientific, very strong scientists, very strong technological background. And by working together in areas like artificial intelligence, new materials, new biology, microelectronics, space, nuclear, and so forth, we really can change the world to the better. And I think this is where we should cooperate.
With the gradual opening of cross-border roads, rails, and bridges between the Russia Far East and northeastern China, what do you think about Chinese capital and technology could combining with Russia's resources and geopolitical advantages in the region? How do they contribute to regional economic development?
It's very important to find fundamental areas of cooperation which create value add for both countries. For instance, energy is now having a new context. Energy used to be needed for industry and for mobility, right? To power our cars. Now a lot of energy is needed for computations, for artificial intelligence, for blockchain. Gigawatts of energy are needed. For this, we can use energy of our rivers, we can use energy of the sun, we can use energy of the wind, we can even use energy of the tides. There are things like tidal energy, geothermal energy. So energy is, if you think about the word, we can even say a person has much energy. What do we mean? He can create things, he or she. So cooperating in the domain of energy, we can go 1, 2, or even 3 steps further and not simply produce oil or gas, but produce computations, produce artificial intelligence more efficiently than somewhere else. Because as we know, computations are done better in colder climate. Let's say when you use a hydropower dam in a cold climate in the Russian Far East or Russian Arctic, you produce energy more efficiently. You can produce hydrogen, and hydrogen can power cars, can power homes, and it's clean energy. So we need to combine these infrastructure opportunities with new technologies and new trends in the development of humanity so that it's really high value add and clean.
How do they contribute to regional economic development?
We should both, in each project in which we cooperate, I think it's best when both countries benefit economically, also benefit technologically, and also benefit culturally. So that in each project there is something we exchange. Russia has very strong science, very strong scientific and engineering capabilities. China has very strong market power, big market share in many niches. So I think that we can localize certain technology, we can combine certain technologies, so that we're not simply moving resources. You know, dig coal and send coal by truck is not a sophisticated business. But even from a coal, you can make diamonds. Did you know that you can make diamonds from coal? It's like compressed carbon, in effect. A diamond is compressed carbon. So you can make composite materials, you can make complex things. So I think this is important for us to seek such areas of cooperation where we learn from each other, not simply sell stuff to each other. Well, selling is just commerce. Learning is really what is long-term relationship is about. So I'm strongly for such projects where we learn from each other and we help each other become stronger, both countries.
The Russian Far East is identified as a priority development area for Russia in the 21st century. China, as the largest trading and investment partner in Russia's Far East, plays a crucial role in accelerating economic development in the region. How do you anticipate the future trajectory of China and Russia cooperation in the Far East? What potential opportunities and challenges do you foresee for both countries?
Well, there are several levels of Russia-China cooperation in the Far East. There is the highest level, government-to-government contracts, and the large state-owned enterprises to state enterprises, let's say like our historical gas contract or participation by Sinopec in Amur gas processing. This is the top-level cooperation. But also there is the ground-level cooperation, a lot of small firms, lots of individual entrepreneurs trading with each other and working with each other. So my outlook is for this big cooperation will be successful, will be long-term, and will help create giant enterprises with great economic benefits for both countries. And at the same time, those small companies, my dream is they also become big. The investors become rich. They arrive at making profits together, producing new products, developing new technologies, because Russia has got so many resources, so many opportunities. China is a giant market, and together we can serve the whole Asia-Pacific market. It's 4 billion people who live there, and we can jointly produce anything together. So this is my dream. So big business becomes successful, and small business become big business.
Everyone come to this region can find their own life.
Yes, exactly.
As the rotating presidency of the BRICS countries, do you believe that the BRICS can play a significant role in global economic recovery?
The BRICS is, and the fact that it is becoming attractive to more and more countries is a proof that the world is different. The world cannot be defined by the West alone or by the golden billion alone. You know, the golden billion people who live in the West, in Europe, in the United States of America, and who believe that they own the world and the rest of the world is their colony, that the rest of the world shall be poor, shall work to supply them with cheap goods. You know, it's not like that. The world is a competition. Why has the United States put 100% duty tax on Chinese EVs? It's a proof that China is efficient at producing EVs. Instead of competing fairly and honestly, and us in the BRICS bloc, China, Russia, India, Brazil, we are countries that are going through this trajectory from low wealth through medium wealth, and we also want to attain high wealth for each our citizen, to get the best health care, to get the best house, to get the best technology, the best entertainment there is, the best travel. For that, I think BRICS is about this, for opportunities for every person to grow rich, to grow prosperous, to grow healthy, to live long. The world must unite to help these countries resolve their complex things. And there are challenges like climate change that only a united world can resolve. The world cannot divide. Like we also work, you know, in the Arctic. My ministry is called the Ministry for Development of the Far Eastern Arctic. Russia is half global Arctic, and Arctic is very fragile, is where climate change is faster. The temperature raising is 2% higher than the rest of the world, and this is important because it causes melting of permafrost, it causes reducing of ice sheet, and it all sorts of consequences that are not good. So only a united world can address future challenges like climate change, artificial intelligence, aging of global population, more and more old people, fewer and fewer young people, overpopulation, you know, coastal cities because of rising sea levels. Coastal cities are in danger. So how can we be such a divided world when we have such pressing challenges that we need to address together?
Yes.
BRICS is helping to bridge the gaps and to address those challenges and to unite the world. For us, a very important forum every year is Eastern Economic Forum in Vladivostok that is going to happen early September. I'm sure there is going to be large participation from China, as it has always been, and it will be dedicated to technology, new technology and how technology is changing our lives. And the secret of discussing technology in the Russian Far East is exactly what I said in my interview with you, is to balance technology with nature, is to live in a harmonious world, because we do not want to live in a world dominated by robots or by artificial technology or by artificial materials or even by artificial meat. We want to live in a world dominated by trees, by sun, by clean water, by healthy people who live in harmony with this fantastic planet that we call Earth. So this is going to be the Eastern Economic Forum, where we are going to be seeking new solutions for these challenges that I mentioned in our interview.
The Russia-China joint statement highlights deepening agricultural investment cooperation and the further exploration of Chinese-Russia agricultural cooperation pilot zones, particularly in Russia's Far East region. How do you envision this agricultural cooperation between China and Russia evolving? And what do you believe are the potential benefits for both countries and the wider region?
Well, here the benefit is very simple. Russia will be getting more exports from soybeans, corn, grain, meat, fish, seafood, vegetable. China will get fresh, tasty, cheap food. I think this is very natural. So, like, you know, everybody likes French wine. And I think that Russian meat is something very tasty, very fresh, and very clean. Russian ice cream, as I told you, Russian milk, Russian chocolate or butter is something that I know the Chinese like already, and we can combine it together with Chinese companies. Chinese companies can participate in these projects. We are already working on setting up certain joint ventures. I think there are going to be announcements at Eastern Economic Forum of very specific projects that are very vertically integrated, from growing grain on land through to transportation, producing animal feed, producing meat, producing various foods from that grain, from that meat, sausage, and supplying Chinese market.
Here on BizTalk, we connect the dots, shedding light on the real stories behind the economic landscape. To better understand China's dynamism and the economies and rhythms of business, propelling new drivers of growth.
China.
We are right now.
Chinese market. The next China is China.
BizTalk, your window into China and the global economy. Only on BizTalk.
Each day, there are millions of stories. Each one can open new perspectives, new possibilities. Wherever you look, we are there to see, discover, explore. We put the pieces together to find what really matters to you, all around the world, all around the clock. Our reporters are at home across the globe. From our headquarters in Beijing and production centers in Washington, Nairobi, and London. Stories from across the globe, reaching people across the globe. CGTN. See the difference.
The rise of emerging markets is reshaping the global economic landscape. With their unique market vitality and potential, these nations have become key drivers of global economic growth. During this year's St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, Ben Joubert, Director of the Department of International Relations and Cooperation in the Republic of South Africa, spoke on the scale of trade and investment among BRICS countries and the multifaceted cooperation between these nations.
So I see a significant opportunity in further growing this trend, and now that 4 countries have additionally joined BRICS. So we are 9 countries now. GDP share of the world's GDP is about a third. So for me, the biggest opportunities in BRICS is the amount of trade investment flows that we could do between ourselves. And we need to put those mechanisms in place. And I do think that the world, that the new development bank of BRICS could also play a role in that sense. Yeah. We need to facilitate trade, and the one way to do that is, of course, through building the infrastructure and getting the physical corridors in place to exchange those trades. For all of us in the global south, it is important to trade. Well, I think China is, of course, a very important player in not only in the world, but definitely in BRICS. So for us, China has chaired BRICS prior to us taking over South Africa in 2023, the BRICS chairship. And there's within BRICS a great appreciation for what China has done and the legacy it has been building. The expansion that we saw in 2023 is actually work that also started during China's chairship in 2022.
With the addition of 4 new countries to the BRICS mechanism, the influence of BRICS nations in the global economy has further strengthened, with their total GDP accounting for approximately 1/3 of the world's GDP. As one of the member countries, Egypt has close trade ties with China. Egyptian Minister for Planning and Economic Development Hala Helmy Elsaid shared her views on the significance of Egypt's inclusion in BRICS and the potential for increased collaboration with China and other BRICS nations.
In China, we have signed a lot of agreements in the area of infrastructure, in the area of technology, in the area of small and medium enterprise. China is definitely a strong economic power, and it enjoys a lot of heavy industrial base and also human capital. And Egypt also enjoy a lot of human capital, and we also have a strategic location. We enjoy a lot of trade agreements, free trade agreements with Africa and with a lot of other countries. So I think there is a lot of cooperation in the economic and political areas. BRIC is playing a very important role, and definitely with the addition, BRICS Plus, with the addition of countries like Egypt, like United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, it will definitely add. The BRIC bloc is more than 40% of the world population, more than 24% of its GDP, and export more than 20% of the world exports. They also produce more than 50% of the food to the whole world. So food security is basically dependent on 50% of these countries. So definitely it's a strong political power. We need to work more on investment, work more on trade, work more on knowledge sharing and transfer of technology, and more on joint venture and industrial investment.
During the St. Petersburg International Forum, China-Russia cooperation took center stage, covering areas such as the Northern Sea Route, urban development, and agriculture. The future of collaboration between the two countries in technology and sustainable development appears promising, further driving global economic recovery.